What's up, guys? Bulva the Fell-Handed here, bringing you another fantastic game of World of Tanks. Here we are, Sand River Standard Battle in the CGC Conquer Gun Carrier Tier 10 British Artillery. Now, with this tank, you will notice, if you are already player or if you're paying attention, let me throw that out there, the flight times are a little higher in this tank. That's because a Bulldog can go faster than the shell. The shell just kind of just plumps right across the horizon. That being said, you do have a little bit more arc in this tank than, say, other arties. You've got better arc. The range does cap out at 1,000 meters. After that, you know, you'll notice the reticle start to flatten out. It's a good tank if you can get the flight time down. If you can connect with someone, you will most certainly ruin their day. You will notice that I run 24 hatchets. You know, if you're going to be a monkey, be a gorilla. They're 8k a piece. Who cares, right? Splash damage being the key here. I think I like this tank better than the Batchat 155-58. The splash damage to me is worth it. Also, the fact that when you hit somebody, if you hit them good, you will just completely fuck them over. I've hit people in the Batchat for 600, 650. You know, you could also, the shell can land literally right next to them, and it will do nothing. Another good thing I like about this tank, it's got a wide arc. You know, you've got a wide arc. You know, that's another reason I run the Batchat is, you know, the Batchat's got a full turret. This thing's got a wide arc. You want to not have to move the hull because that fucks the whole deal up. This one does have pretty shitty aiming time, even with a GLD and you know, vertical stabilizer, all that. But sometimes I tend to have good games in these things. They're not amazing. They're decent. You know, what are you going to do? I'm not an arty player. I just happen to have a couple of arties. Let me put it to you that way. But, you know, I try to help the team wherever I can. As far as this tank goes, you know, you get a tank that you know has bad terrain resistance that's not going to make any surprise moves, like, say, an IS-7 or an E3 or an E4. You could do pretty well in it. You know, if your flight times are 2.5 second range, you're going to be okay. Once it gets up to 3.8, who the fuck knows where somebody's going to be in 3.8 seconds? You don't need a fucking gun sight. You need a fucking crystal ball. Because nobody fucking knows. Now, the whole hatchet thing, if you pull the numbers up, the hatchets, the super high exploding rounds, give you almost 1.5 in splash damage compared to what you would have. I think this thing splashes out to 11 meters. I've fired rounds and I've hit 3 or 4 tanks before. But you know what? Honestly, why not? You know, just why not? Just, you know, if you've got money, you want to have fun, do it. And, you know, in that case, of course, I hit so far behind him, not even that splash damage did anything. But sometimes, you know, on the other hand, it'll really be a boon if you can hit somebody and they're anywhere near a group. If you're focused in on a front, Abby, shooting across the way there, where everybody pushes, yeah, you're gonna fucking sling dick. But you're not always gonna be able to do that. Sometimes it's gonna be like it is now, Sand River. They're out in the middle of nowhere. They're moving around a lot, and you know, every arty driver knows nobody ever gets tracked when they're supposed to. They always get tracked, you know, when after you've already shot them or you fired and you know, you were calculating distance, and then they get tracked, and then, you know, the shot lands where you thought they would be. So, you know, what are you going to do? There's nothing you can do except do your best. The tank grind to this thing was not bad at all. This is one of the few tanks I can remember that I've actually grinded in recent time. The tier 9 version of this was not bad. I skipped through a couple of the low tiers. Myself and Urzu7 actually went up this line together. I think there was a bishop or something that was just so fucking piss poor awful. we just kind of skipped it. Inadvertently skipped the Burt, which is fucking awesome as far as, like, you know, accuracy. Hey, shut the fuck up! Zozo is one massive guard dog. If you run up in my shit, she will lick you to death. Anyway, Zozo aside, you can do really well with this tank. I've one-shot a lot of things. I just hit the fuck out of that poor guy. I've one-shot E4. And when I say one-shot, I mean, you know, they have not been touched. So, you can do things. It's got good splash. It's got good damage. You know, module damage just will wreck everything in sight. So, it's a good tank. I would even have to say it would probably come in second as far as my artilleries that I like. Actually, I mean, first, really, I don't own the 5355, but I hear that's the most OP arty, and if you've seen Spartan Elite in it, you would believe it. So, yes, this is a good tank. I don't know, I don't run arty enough to for sure say there's better. I kind of end up like this more than the Batchat, just because it hits harder. The autoloader's good, but it's got the boon of autoloaders. It is massively inconsistent. They did that shit on purpose. I don't blame them. They used to be tack drivers. Now they're not. You don't want tack drivers in this game because, you know, rapage. Guys, all I have for you today. Hope you enjoyed my CGC video. I love you all. Gayest way possible. Please subscribe, like my videos, share my shit. Deuces.